In this lesson, I'd like to show you how to layer and group objects. I'm going to draw 3 objects on my screen. They'll just be some shapes. Come out. I'm going to hold my Shift key while I draw these, just so they keep their original shape. They don't get blown out. And one more. Hold my Shift key, draw a perfect circle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and color these up. So we give them some different colors. Maybe I'll come out here and grab this guy and make it a little more of an interesting shape. Now, you can see that I've drawn this one first, I drew this one second, and this one third. That means that since this was drawn first, it's the one farthest in the back. Since this was second, it is the second one in the layer, and since this was third, this is the third in the layer. So this is how objects are layered. They're layered in the order in which they're placed on the slide. But they don't have to stay that way. If I come out here and just place these again on top of each other, if I'd like to move this third drawn object, if I'd like to take this and move it back, I can do this by selecting the object, right-clicking, coming out to bring to front, send to back, and I can bring to front or bring forward. I can also send to the back or send backwards. Now if I say send to back, it goes all the way to the back. If I say send backward, it goes back one layer. And if I do this again, I'll say send to back, send backward, it goes all the way in the back. Now likewise, on my green arrow, if I come out here and right click and say send to the back, it goes all the way to the back of the list. Now sometimes you might get in a situation like this, where you've drawn an object so large that it covers up an object in the back. Perhaps there's a little piece of a map or something that you happen to draw and it happened to be in the bottom of the layer somehow. Now this could be a problem. If everything's set up perfectly, I don't want to come out here and start dragging my objects around to blow out my diagram or map or whatever I'm putting together. If I press my Tab key over and over, little known to most people, that it will select the objects on the slide in the order in which they were placed on the slide. So I can see this is my star, there's my green rectangle in the background that I can't see, and there's my big blue ball. So if I keep going and I have the rectangle back here without moving anything, I can place my pointer on one of the handles here, right click and choose bring to front, and that brings that all the way to the front. Now perhaps you're putting a map together or several objects and you have them placed perfectly on your slide and you'd like to go ahead and move these. You have to select them first and then move them. Perhaps with them together you might even want to resize them. So the first thing I want to do is come out here and select my objects. Now I can come out here and select an object, select another object, and if I select another, it deselects the first. So if I click the first object, hold down my control key and select the second and then the third object, I can select several objects at once. I could come out here and just select the blue ball in the background, hold my control key, and then select just the green, and if I grab and move these, I move both of these together, but not the star that goes with it. Now another way to select is to come out here and just put your pointer somewhere up to the top left corner or bottom right corner, anywhere on a corner where if you drag you can select all of the objects. Let go of your mouse, it selects all the objects at once. Now if you happen to miss one of these, like if I come out and I select like so, but I don't quite down at the bottom get both the green arrow and the blue ball, it's not going to select those. You have to completely encompass this way to select those. So two ways to select. You can click, hold your Shift key, Control key rather, and come out here and click to select. After you have something selected, if you have too much selected, you can also hold your Control key and deselect. So if I don't want to have the green arrow selected, I could click by holding the Control key and it also deselects. So that's also good to know. Now I want to resize my new logo here. So what I'm going to do is select all of these at once, and then I'm going to grab a corner handle here on one of these, hold my Shift key to keep them constrained in their original shapes, and I'm going to just shrink these down, and I see that I have a problem. Because these guys are all separate objects, as I resize them, they resize independently to get separate from each other. So what I'd like to do is have a way that I can weld these all together so I can resize this, make it larger or smaller, and it won't blow out its original look here. And the way you do this is you select all of them, and then any point on any of the selections, you just right click and choose Group, Group. This will group all these together. It welds them all together into one piece. So now I can come out here, hold my Shift key if I would like, and reduce this down, move it, make it bigger, whatever I want to do. Now at any point if I'd like, I can also come back out here and I can just right click this thing and choose Group, Ungroup to ungroup these objects as well. Another method for selecting objects on your slide is to use the Selections pane. On your Home tab, look all the way to the right under the Editing group, and under the Select command, choose Selection pane. And this will open up the Selection pane on the right hand of your screen. The Selection pane contains labels for all of your objects on your screen. So when you're back here on your slide pressing Tab to move from object to object, on the right hand side you'll see the Selection pane will highlight the name of the object that you have selected. You can also click with your mouse to select the object. Now if I click on the Freeform 11, I see there's an object way in the back that I may want to get to and work with. Without moving anything aside, what I could do is come out here and click on Oval 4 and click the little eye tool on the right to hide Oval 4. I could click the star face and I could come out and hide that, and I could click on this as a text box and hide that as well, and then I see Oval 4. From here I could go ahead and move Oval 4, or I could just right click it and come up and say bring to front, and that'll pop it all the way on top of the stack. Now when I come back out and say show all, I can see all of my objects again. They're no longer hidden, and I see the freeform out here on the right hand side, or rather right in the middle of all of them. But I could move it to the right hand side just by dragging it or using my arrow keys to move it.